Let's talk about the clean, which is the transition from what is the swing to the resting position, which is the rack position. Remembering all the parameters we have talked about in the swing, it is essential to understand how we manage to carry the kettlebell on us by making as few mistakes as possible. So, basically, starting from a good swing, the important thing is not to be dragged forward. This is one of the most common mistakes, which then involves having to pull and yank the kettlebell with the muscles, which must not happen. The important thing is precisely to create a displacement of the body that allows us to cling to the kettlebell, to which we find the kettlebell, which, in a dead center where it rises and falls, is as if we were in front of it. The body setup is important to perform a good swing, because if we start to go backwards, arching the back, going with the back upwards, or with the pelvis, by anticipating and not maintaining the alignment between the back and the pelvis, we run the further risk of wanting to throw it on instead of working with the right positions. So it is essential to understand that during the swing phase, we find the kettlebell at a height where it is already happening towards us with the movement of the body. By starting to do this type of exercise, here we begin to see that there is a small shoulder call. At this moment, with a little practice, we must make sure that the kettlebell neither going up nor down, we are here. At this time, when the kettlebell is here, we simply have to move with the weight of the body back and make a small recall with the shoulder, actually the elbow. And once we find the kettlebell here, just open the hand, and in flight, we open the hand. The hand enters the bar, turns around us, and the ball rests. The V created between arm and forearm, and we go to put the elbow on the crestelia, practically wanting to carry the elbow in our pocket. Okay. From this position, he comes towards us. I open my hand, and off we go. So the most common mistake is to want to throw it at us. Let's try to avoid this. Initially, the movement will be nice high, but let's try to reproduce it round, okay? Then it will have to become more and more minimal, so that the detachment of the arm from the pelvis will have to become less and less. So it will become this. But initially, I'm fine with this. Okay? As an initial phase. We then have to go down the rack position. So the fundamental thing, and one of the most common mistakes to avoid, is this: throwing the kettlebell forward and bringing the pelvis back, generating this type of error. So it is always essential in the descent, supination of the hand, slipping of the hand on the bar, but to grasp the whole arm with the pelvis, which hooks into the groin. And then later we go to reperform what is the swing, and which we have already talked about. So I repeat, come here, sub in action. I welcome the whole arm with my pelvis. Again, at this height, I move my body, I open my hand, I go inside, and I come here. So initially we try to do some practice, not by performing it with a single tempo, but with 3 initial swings to become familiar with coordination. And then it becomes 1, 2, 3.